Hey Duke basketball fans, I'm Pete Winkler, Duke basketball superfan and self-proclaimed professor of Duke basketball. Welcome to episode 6 of the Duke basketball PhD course. In this special episode, I'll be talking about how Duke and its cohort ACC teams have crushed the ACC sucks narrative that's been conveyed by ESPN resident bracketologist Joe Lunardi and other basketball pundits. But first, a few words about Duke basketball's performance in the just past first weekend of the 2024 NCAA basketball tournament. I'm feeling great after watching Duke basketball's first two games at the South Regional in Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. In their first round of 64 game last Friday at the Barclays Center, number 4 seeded Duke defeated Vermont 64-47 in a strong defensive performance by Duke that limited Vermont to only 18 points in the second half. Duke's scoring was led by Mark Mitchell and Jared McCain, who scored 15 points each. Jeremy Roach had 14, and Tyrese Proctor also chipped in with 13 points. It was a balanced offensive performance by Duke. In their second round of 32 game on Sunday, Duke absolutely dominated and clobbered number 12 seed James Madison University 93-55. While only a number 12 seed, James Madison was a strong opponent and had entered the game with a 32-3 win-loss record and riding a 14-game win streak that included a first-round 11-point knockout of number 5 seeded Wisconsin. However, in this game, Duke dominated on the inside and the outside, racing out to a 24-9 lead after 9 minutes of the first half and never looking back. Duke grew the lead from there and cruised home with a 38-point win. It was an outstanding performance by the entire Duke team. It was led by Jared McCain with 30 points in just 31 minutes of action on a blistering 8 for 11 from three-point range. Great game, Jared. Tyrese Proctor also had 18 points. Jeremy Roach, after a scary-looking left pinky dislocation in the first half, came back quickly and ended the game with 15 points. Kyle Filipowski also regained form and had 14 points in the game. Duke moves on to the Sweet 16 round of the tournament, where they'll face number 1 seed Houston in Dallas. Houston survived a tough overtime game against Texas A&M in their last game. Go Duke! So as mentioned, today's special episode will be about how Duke and its ACC cohort teams, Clemson, North Carolina State, and North Carolina, have absolutely crushed the ACC sucks narrative that's being conveyed by basketball experts around the country, not just this season, but over the last few seasons. I'm looking at you, Joe Lunardi. For this entire college basketball season, all we've been hearing from the college basketball pundits is the ACC is weak this season, the ACC is down. Or, for the more crass ones, the ACC really sucks this season. And this is just an extension of the static and negative noise we've been hearing about the ACC from these experts over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Well, I'm here to tell you, those experts have been exactly wrong. Most major college basketball pundits, Joe Lunardi and his ESPN colleagues included, have had the ACC ranked as the number 5 or even 6 quality conference in college basketball this season, behind the Big 12 ranked number 1, of course, agreed by almost everybody to be the best conference in college basketball. The SEC ranked number 2 by most pundits. The Big 10 ranked number 3. The Big East ranked 4, and even the Mountain West Conference, which has slipped in at a number 5 conference ranking among the major pundits. The ACC has been a lowly number 6 ranking. However, as we saw the rounds of 64 and 32 play out in last weekend's NCAA tournament, the ACC has outperformed all of those rankings. Even with Virginia's slip-up in the first 4 pre-main round against Colorado State, the ACC finished the first 2 rounds with a gaudy 8-1 record. That was the most wins among any conference in the NCAA tournament, followed by the Big East, which had an outstanding record of 6-0. The rest of the major conferences did not do very well. In fact, The ACC's 8-0 record in the rounds of 64 and 32 was the best record of all time for any conference in those first two rounds. And that dates back to 1985, 39 years ago, when the NCAA tournament field was expanded to 64 teams. As we enter the Sweet 16 round beginning on Thursday, the ACC has 4 teams remaining in the tournament after receiving 5 bids originally. The Big East is second with 3 teams remaining in the tournament after having 3 bids originally. The Big 12 had 8 bids originally, but has only 2 teams remaining in the tournament. Same for the SEC. 8 bids originally, only 2 teams remaining in the tournament. The Big 10 had 6 bids originally, but only 2 teams remaining in the tournament, and the highly overrated Mountain West had 6 bids and only 1 team remaining in the tournament for the Sweet 16. The ACC's strong performance in the tournament really shouldn't have come as any surprise to anyone that was looking closely. For example, at the ACC's 9-3 record versus the Big 12 in head-to-head matchups in the pre-conference schedule season. As Clemson coach Brad Brownell and some other savvy observers have noted, the Big 12 and the Mountain West did do a good job of loading up on the cupcake soft opponents in the pre-conference part of the schedule. That enabled them to game the net ratings to enhance their rankings as they headed into the conference schedule. Once in the conference schedule with a strongly rated conference, some of those top teams couldn't lose and were in a great position to get an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament. In fact, to anyone who was looking closely at that pre-conference part of the schedule, the ACC was not down. In fact, they remained one of the strongest conferences in the country. And of course, this is not the first season, but rather the 3rd season in a row that the ACC has been dramatically underrated without proper cause. To that point, let me run down the NCAA tournament records and Final Four appearances by each major conference since the 2022 NCAA tournament. So that period covers 2 full NCAA tournaments plus the first 2 rounds of this year's tournament. Again, the ACC has led the way with a 29-11 overall record in the tournament for a .725 winning percentage and 3 Final Four appearances. Again, the Big East comes in second with a 25-10 overall record for .714 winning percentage and 2 Final Four appearances. The Big 12 comes in third, clearly behind both the ACC and Big East, with a 29-18 overall tournament record for a .617 winning percentage and just 1 trip to the Final Four. The Big 10 comes in fourth with a 21-19 overall tournament record for a .525 winning percentage and 0 trips to the Final Four. The SEC, picked by many as the second strongest conference behind the Big 12, actually comes in 5th in NCAA tournament performance with a 19-20 record for a .475 winning percentage and 0 trips to the Final Four. The Mountain West, which this year got 6 bids to the NCAA tournament but has only 1 team in the Sweet 16, brings up the rear with a 9-13 overall record for a .409 winning percentage and 1 trip to the Final Four. So pretty much no matter how you slice it, both in this year's tournament and in tournaments dating back to 2022, Joe Lunardi and his fellow basketball pundits have gotten it exactly wrong about the ACC and its teams. The ACC has been the strongest performing conference in the NCAA tournament, both this season and over the last 3 years so far. The Big East, which again got only 3 bids to the NCAA tournament this year, comes in a close second, followed by the supposedly stronger Big 12, SEC, and Big 10 conferences. The ACC sucks narrative has been completely crushed by Duke and its ACC cohort teams. Okay, that's it for today's episode of the Duke Basketball PhD course. Thanks for watching. And if you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe to my channel, and leave a comment to let me know what you'd like me to cover in future episodes. Thanks, and go Duke!